Alright guys, if you've already seen my John Wick review, my spoiler review, which goes to this video, you've already heard the apology. There's going to be multiple videos coming up fast. If the John Wick one's up, or should be up, Detective Pikachu review's coming up. There's this one, and then I have a Devil's Advocate. What I'm going to call Devil's Advocate is a series I'm going to try to do here and there. It's going to be coming up probably today as well. So, or at least soon after these videos do. So there's like 4 videos popping up, bam, bam, bam. I normally don't like to do more than like 2 at a time, sometimes 3 if something pops up and I just want to get it up as fast as I can. Okay, so we're going to do the John Wick rant. Okay, and this rant is actually very nice. I've already touched on it a little bit in the review, and that is the martial art aspect of this movie. As a martial artist myself, I have a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo and a 2nd degree black belt in Tong Soo Do, or Midnight Blue belt as it's called, Tong Soo Do. It's just easier to say black because people, when they hear Midnight Blue, that I've done this already before. I've had to explain, Midnight Blue, why they use Midnight Blue belt, but Midnight Blue belt is traditional black. So you know, even though I do know it's called Midnight Blue belt, because I'm going to get someone out here who knows Tong Soo Do who's going to be like, it's not a black belt. But yes, I have a 2nd degree in Tong Soo Do and a 3rd degree in Tong Soo Do, or Taekwondo. And soon, hopefully, we'll be testing for my 4th in Taekwondo. So, moving on. Okay, so I do know a bit about martial arts, and then I am also Army certified in combatives, only level 1 out of 4, but I have a lot of training. I am confident in my abilities enough where I can defend myself and my family on the street against the average person, the average assailant. Someone who is also well trained, probably be a bit more difficult. But the reason for this rant, and I'm just calling this series a rant, which I do on every movie I watch, or something like that, about the points of thing, if the movie calls for it. This one, if you've seen my other rants, I did a rant on Endgame, and that one was mostly about the girl power moment, the Mary Sue moment, where all the girls are on screen together, and they have this epic battle across the battleground, and I paid my piece on that, and it was, and then I also did a rant about Mortal Kombat, and stuff like that, and it was mostly about the reason they covered up. If you haven't played Mortal Kombat 11 yet, the reason the female characters are more covered. And I said, I'm going to say this again because I've already been called sexist for that one. If I wanted that stuff, if I want to see more skin and on female characters that aren't in there's a whole library of other things to go to. I mean, DOA alone, Dead or Alive alone, is got more than Mortal Kombat ever did. And then there's anime, movies, the internet, one Google search, and I'm going to have more than Mortal Kombat can give me. And then, of course, I'm married, so I can get the real deal. But we're not going to talk about that, okay? We're on about John Wick. We're already 3 minutes in this video, so, okay, this rant is about a good thing, actually, and it's about Halle Berry's character and a few other things about the martial arts, like I said. Halle Berry's character is the biggest part of this. They were going through, and they did this really well, and it's a hard reality, women. I'm sorry if I have upset any female watchers or even any soy boys here. Women are typically not as strong as guys. Now, that is not saying that there is not a woman out who can outlift me, outrun me, outpush up me, because there are, okay? But I'm just saying, I have to look it up, but I believe the deadlift world champion, or world record for men's weightlifting is like a good 100 to 200 pounds heavier than the world record for women's. That's why we're having problems with the transgender, switching sports and stuff like that. That's, so we have all that problem there. Typically, on the average scale, a man is stronger than a woman. That is not, belittling women everywhere. Not trying to do that. Trust me, I've had my butt kicked plenty of times by women in sparring and fighting while in martial arts. Okay, there are some strong women out there. That is just on average. The average woman is weaker. So that's just how it is. Now, women can do their things that men can. It's just how it is. But they did this right. Okay, instead of pulling like what movie was it? Peppermint, all right, with Jennifer Gardner, where she was just beating up guys left and right, no problem. Badass right out of the gate. For badass out of the gate, and her character was a mom, like 3-4 years ago. Something like that, and now she's all of a sudden she spent 5 years training, and she took out a branch of the cartel. Highly unrealistic. They didn't do that in this movie. Okay, this movie was great. They had Halle Berry's character. She is a manager, and like I said, this is going to have spoilers in it. She's a manager of a Continental in another country. Not the one we're used to seeing in John Wick in the New York one, but she is a manager in another one. Turns out John Wick helped her get her daughter to a safe hiding place, and she doesn't even know where she's at. And she's got, just like in John Wick 2, where he had the marker that he was forced to obey and do the task that to get that marker. He had one that with her thumbprint on it. So it was a similar situation that he had. And they had gotten a scuffle. They had to fight their way out of this place, and they did it correctly. She wasn't overpowering all the guys that she fought. She actually struggled with some of them and had to shoot them or call her dogs. Her dogs did a lot of the work with her. They did a lot of tactical work with the dogs. It was very well thought out. It was very well meticulously placed. All her strikes on a lot of the stuff that, like saying I can do to someone about my size, like flying arm bars, stuff like that. Because of my weight, I can do it to someone about my size, or maybe a little bigger, a little smaller. But Halle Berry can't do it to, Halle Berry's like 5 foot something, probably like 120, 30 pounds. She's not going to be able to fling, this giant Middle Eastern dude who's like 6 foot something and, well-trained assassin in the John Wick universe and fling him around by, his neck by jumping and grabbing his. It's probably not going to happen that way, but they had her up on the upper parts and all this stuff. Her strikes are very well placed. She would often shoot them in the leg before throwing them. She'd call the dogs. The dogs would bite them. Then she'd take them down. She was double tapping, which means, she was making sure they're dead. She was very meticulous. It was a very well thought out thing. I liked it. They gave, realistic badassery to a female character. And that's not because she's female. I would be doing the same thing a lot about if this was a male character and it was completely unrealistic. Okay, John Wick's universe is not unrealistic in the sense of what he uses. He earlier in the movie, he fights this really big dude who jumps the clock and tries to kill him. He kills him with a freaking book, a hollowed out book, and it was a hard fight for him. He got stabbed, got all this other stuff. He had to use the book to dislocate his jaw, use the book to break his. He had to use the book, and it was very well placed to the weak points of the body. And it was, John Wick's universe, Keanu Reeves and the other writers, all the producers, they did their due diligence on all the research. Like I said in the review, there are a bunch of videos everywhere of how hard he trains. The people who train him have done interviews talking about he's always the first on the mats and the last off the mats. He's there all day, every day, that he can be. He trains relentlessly and religiously. And for that, that is awesome. As a person, I train every chance I get. I get to my studio because the way my studio works, I'm actually the highest rank at my studio, but I'm not the highest rank in my organization. So I'm still, like I said, I'm only a third degree. I have to train up. So I actually have to drive 5 hours to the closest person that I know who can see me and say what I need to fix and test me or not. That's 5 hours away. I don't get to train. I get to train maybe once a month with my instructors. So I'm the same way. When I go down there, I like to be changed, ready. I like to be there. When I go to my studio to teach, I'm there. First class starts at 4. I'm there no later than usually 3:30. All right, and that is if traffic's bad and I have errands to run. I get there as soon as I can, and I dress out and I start practicing my stuff. That is how it is. Sorry, we've been having floods and stuff, and it sounds like it's raining again. This is almost a 10-minute video. I'm going to go ahead and call it there. It's a rant, but it's a good rant. Love how meticulous this is. I highly doubt it'll ever get to the years of Keanu Reeves, but kudos goes out to you, man. I've always been a fan since I was little. I love the Matrix series. Even Reloaded and Revelations, even though they're not as good as the Matrix, love them. I still have. I could show you guys. Pull them out. I have a lot of the old Matrix games for Xbox and GameCube. I have, Enter the Matrix. I have Path and Neo. I have all, I have them over there. I have all the Matrix, movies. I love them. Me and my buddy growing up, we were obsessed with them. We literally would play like Path and Neo for like 4 or 5 hours, and then watch one of the movies, and then go back to the game and play it for 4 or 5 hours. And that was what our weekends consist of constantly because we loved the Matrix so much. It was such a good story to us. Excuse me. So he's definitely only gotten better in my opinion. I hadn't seen him in anything in so long till 47 Ronin. I love 47 Ronin. I love that he's back. I love that he's got a hands-on approach to all this. If people made movies more like this, we would be the bar would be set so high for everything. So really think they should get this. It's going 10 minutes now. All right, guys, it was a long rant. Sorry about that. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Tell me what you guys want me to watch next. I don't care if it's an old movie. Trust me, if it's an old martial art movie, I probably have it on my shelf. Old comic book movie, probably have it on my shelf. Movie coming out, I will go see it. That is my policy. I actually also work in a movie theater. That is my policy. I get free movies. I will go and watch movies, including stuff like The Hustle and Isn't It Romantic? Movies that aren't my thing. I'm not a romantic comedy guy or anything like that. I'm not that guy. But I'll go watch them because you won't believe how many people ask, "What is this about?" And you can give them a basic rundown just by watching it. So I have no problem going and watching a movie, even if I don't think it's going to be good, just to give you a review on it. It's the only reason I went and saw Peppermint with Jennifer Gardner. I didn't like Peppermint. Did not look good. Did not look realistic at all. I do like a basic realism to my movies. If it's going to be a movie like that takes place in the real world, something like The Matrix or comic book universe or anything like that, I'm completely fine with it being unrealistic. But if it's going to be something like Assassins, anything like in the real world physics, real world everything, you got to have it realistic. So go ahead and hit me with all those requests. Hit that subscribe button if you aren't already. Hit the notification bell. If you guys didn't know, the notification bell alerts you when I upload videos. That way you don't have to keep checking, because there are times when I will go dark for a little while because of work and other things going on, whether it be testing coming up for me or my students. So there are a couple times a month when I just go completely dark. So hit that notification bell so you don't have to keep coming back. All right, leave a comment below. Think if you agree with me or not. I have no problem debating people. Just be respectful about it. If you be respectful, I'm going to be respectful. You can say your piece. I ain't going to call you a name for saying your piece. I will tell you why I think you're wrong or why I didn't see it that way, and I agree with you if you convince me. Just don't be disrespectful. Don't be a jerk. We'll have a good debate. So catch you guys next time.